You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to The Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, December 10th show. It's a great day to talk about money. That's why I'm here. That's what the show is all about, how to make money, save money, have a better quality of life for you and for your family, especially in this holiday season. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. I'm here. I can answer any questions that you have, 1-855-400-1150, or you can go online at themoneyhour.com. I've got some amazing guests in studio. I can connect you with them as well. Again, just call the show, 1-855-400-1150, or online at themoneyhour.com. Right now in studio, I have Joe Maassen with Caring Transitions of South Puget Sound, and we're going to be discussing downsizing and estate sales services. Joe, thank you so much for joining me back in studio.
Thanks for having me back.
Happy holidays to you.
And happy holidays to you as well.
A little bit about Joe, 1.5 years experience as a certified relocation and transition specialist, retired after 31 years in the military, 27 of those full-time for the Washington Army National Guard. And Joe, last time that you were here in studio visiting with me and sharing with my listeners, we've talked about a lot of things, but since then, what's new and happening with Caring Transitions?
Well, since then, we've opened up a couple new franchises. We've got one out on the Kitsap Peninsula, so one opening up in Bremerton. That'll be open soon.
Okay.
We've also got a franchise starting that goes from Everett up to Marysville. So not only do we have Seattle well covered with Jennifer Black, but Michelle Green on the east side doing Bellevue Issaquah. I'm in the South Sound, and I'm also purchasing a franchise from Federal Way up to Kirkland.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
It's great to hear such a great company is expanding and having their services available to more people in our area. So, Joe, last time we discussed how families could best prepare for downsizing in future by planning ahead. So what about families that don't have time to prepare or they've procrastinated on that preparation? What advice?
Not only procrastination, but sometimes it's a medical issue that comes up where somebody has a fall and they go into rehab. Perhaps they can't return to the home, and all of a sudden they've got to downsize when that wasn't in their plans originally. We do everything we normally do to help people downsize, but we can do it on a compressed timeline. So we'll help them with the space plan once they've identified where they want to go, and we'll help them with a physical estate sale or an online auction estate sale, and then we can help them do a property clean out so that they can sell the home.
So once a family's determined that they need assistance to downsize, what qualities should they look for when considering a company to help them through this process?
Well, they want to make sure one of the first questions would be, is the company that they're going to work with licensed, bonded, insured? They want to know exactly what those charges are going to be, what are the fees, what are the commissions, and know those things up front so there aren't any nasty surprises. Another question they could ask is, how does that company handle security? One of the things is, for example, Caring Transitions, all of our employees undergo a background check when they come to work with us. In addition to that, as we're handling a family's property, we are very careful with their personally identifiable information. We want to make sure we can do everything we can to reduce the possibility of identity theft. So we're very careful to collect all of those things, have the family review them, and then make sure that those things are shred.
Yeah, really important when having access to all of that personal information.
So one other consideration is, do they have an appraiser on staff or do they have access to an appraiser? If there are pieces of property that are expensive, valuable, and you want to know exactly what the fair market value is, and so you can get the family proper value for their items. You'll want a copy of the contract, and another thing is to perhaps take a look at the quality of their work. If you can, see if they're conducting an estate sale, and maybe just go incognito and take a look at how they do business and see if you like them.
Great advice, and makes total sense in doing your research ahead of time to make sure that you're getting a quality professional that's going to take care of you. So why do most of your clients, Joe, who need estate sale services choose to have their estate sale online?
That's a great question. One of the reasons is weather doesn't become a factor. When you go to do all of the work in order to prepare for an estate sale, you don't want to have Mother Nature come in and just keep everybody at home.
And we have some surprises with Mother Nature here in the Seattle area.
It does happen. So an online estate sale is a really great option.
Mm-hmm.
Other considerations for an online estate sale are that more of the items will sell. And the bottom line, what we find is that someone will realize almost twice the profit they would from an online auction than they would from a physical estate sale. And one of the reasons for that is when a family has collectibles and such, and we're advertising those online, it appeals to a national audience rather than just who can show up that weekend. So it's a great deal for them.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's just surprising. This year, I have not stepped out of my house to buy any Christmas gifts. It's all been online. I'm still shopping, by the way. So, Joe, what about so we're talking about online and that process and being more efficient, being more profitable. What about the shipping and the cost for that? Who takes care of that?
Carrier Transitions handles all of that. So the buyer pays the fees and we take care of the shipping so that the client doesn't have to worry about anything.
Got it. So what happens to the items that aren't sold in the estate sale?
It's at the discretion of the client. Oftentimes they'll direct that it goes to Goodwill, Habitat for Humanity, Salvation Army, or if they have a particular charity that they like, that may come and pick it up. That'll reduce their cost, or we'll bring it to them. Mm-hmm. And then those things that aren't accepted by a charity, we'll take to the landfill.
So, Joe, when the house has been cleared out and it's ready to go, how are you helping your clients prepare the home for sale?
Well, by doing that clean out, what we'll do at the end, once we've sold everything that we can for them, is we'll make those donations, take things to the landfill, and then we'll do a dry clean. So we'll vacuum, we'll sweep, and we'll turn it over to the realtor. One of the other things I want to talk about is this time of year is a great time for families who are getting together and they may not have seen mom and dad for a while, and they'll be able to notice whether or not mom or dad are doing okay and recognize that it's time to do downsizing. And, they'll take a look and see the cleanliness of the place. Yeah. Are mom and dad keeping the routines that they're used to? Another thing is checking out the car. Going to mom and dad's car, walking around it.
What are you seeing in the car?
Oh, just looking out for any scratches or dents that may not have been there last time.
Okay, yeah, making sure that
just
they're...
one of those indicators.
Yeah, so just one, and hopefully all of us are having time to check in on our parents on a regular basis. But yeah, sometimes life comes into place and people get busy. So definitely during the holidays, you're making those visits. So why not make sure that you're watching out and seeing what's going on? Great advice. So services and the affordability. Let's talk about that.
The services are affordable. Like I was mentioning earlier, you do get a written estimate up front. We'll do a free consultation. We'll provide that written estimate. And then more often than not, the client's getting money back after all of the sale. The revenue generated from the sale will cover the cost and provide a check back to that client. Okay.
So what if I have a listener that's just thinking they want to decide to do everything on their own? What would you say to that person, Joe?
More power to them. And if they're good at it, I'll hire them. Yeah. But oftentimes, I'll talk to them and they'll take a look at the cost and they think that they can't afford it. But I got to tell you, it's a lot of work doing the sorting, organizing, pricing things, making sure that you're getting fair market value, doing things like advertising, staffing the sale, trying to prevent theft. And then one of the things that we can do that oftentimes when people do it on their own, they can't do, is we'll have, we can accept credit and debit cards. And oftentimes people spend more when they can take advantage of that. And if they're still determined, I'll provide them some tips and say good luck. And sometimes they'll call me back.
And say this is a little bit too much.
More than I expected, and we want you back.
So any story that you can share with my listeners, Joe, on a success story that you've recently had with assisting with one of your clients?
Well, we recently had some folks who essentially had a lot of farm items, and there are things that weren't particularly useful, but they look great in people's yard. And so by doing an online sale, I'm sure we generated probably 3 times the revenue they would have gotten from just having a physical estate sale. And they were quite pleased with us.
So what do you say in the most common things in a estate sale that is where is bringing in the most money? Are there more popular items?
Well, it's kind of funny right now. Mid-century modern furniture, which we see a lot of, is pretty popular. It's pretty surprising.
Yeah.
And so most of our customers for our online auctions are people who resell on eBay.
I was just going to say that. I know it seems like there'd be a lot of it because they're going in and they're looking for those deals that they can then price it up on eBay. And for those of you that are going through an estate sale, you just don't have time to go and price it individual and manage that, because I've heard it's quite a process. But
it is, but I've had some. I've got some regular customers and also some that I ship to across the nation that they're regular customers. They find those bargains in our online auctions and take advantage of it.
So you actually even have a sphere of people within that are out there shopping and looking for items that you might even be able to reach out to and assist with those sales.
Exactly. And the longer we do it, the greater our mailing list becomes.
Yes. So, Joe, I've got a few minutes here left before I take us to commercial. Anything else that you want to share in advice when it comes to downsizing, estate sales?
One of the things, probably the biggest thing that leads it off, is recognizing the fact that people do need to downsize.
Yes.
And oftentimes, some folks, like my parents, I hope they're not listening, are reluctant to do so. But there are advantages, because if, getting around safely, getting the right nutrition, it may be time to downsize a little bit, and there's less to keep track of. And so when it is that time, helping them through the process to identify what's important to them in a facility and helping them get there. Once they've chosen a spot, we can help from there. So.
And I would imagine, in that process of helping them decide, it's easier coming from an outside and an expert than it is from within the family, your daughter, your son, to help. So really having that third party, not related, and coming in as an expert to help them through the process, I would imagine would be a lot more successful.
It is. Absolutely.
Yeah. Joe, thank you for coming back in studio. Again, happy holidays to you, and appreciate all the advice you share with my listeners.
Happy holidays, and thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Coming up next on the Money Hour, do you want to have more money to enjoy the holidays? Learn some financial strategies. It's Tony Sablon with Eagle Strategies, New York Life, right here at 1150 a.m. KKNW after this short break.